My beautiful friends, let's do a reading. So I did film another reading, but I felt called to film a second one. So I'm probably going to post this one first. So I want to see what's going on with you and what you need to hear today. So I also have, it's getting dark here, so it's actually too dark for me to film. So I have like a ring light on, which I never use. But anyway, so maybe I'm here to shed some light on a situation. So we're going to start with this deck. Each moment I show gratitude creates another door with additional blessings to be discovered. Interesting. So maybe you're showing gratitude. All right, I felt called to use this deck. I haven't used this deck in quite a while, so we'll see what comes out for you. We have the root chakra, so you could be working on safety, stability, home. All right, we have freedom on the bottom. Freedom! Young, wild, and free. Free spirit. Self-love. That's beautiful. I hope they come out. Whoops. Maybe you're trying to keep negative energy away from you right now. The way I just slammed that deck was interesting. So let's get into it. Let's see your energy, collective energy. Yeah, we have root chakra and we have father wounds, healing father wounds. So probably you could be thinking about traveling. But father wounds are connected, like maybe you didn't have a stable masculine energy or father figure in your life when you were younger, or perhaps you have deep father wounds. And you're learning how to give yourself that safety, stability, and home. I actually just want to pull out my book about father, or this Sacred Shadows has a father wound. I'm feeling called to read some of it for you. Perhaps you were in a connection where, again, you could have been lacking stability as a child when it came to your father figure. And perhaps right now you're working on giving yourself that stability. 94 could be symbolic, or 95. The father wound is so deep and all pervasive in so many parts of the world that its healing could well be the most radical social reform conceivable. The father wound is not just a personal affliction, it is a cultural and societal issue that ripples through generations, shaping how we view power, authority, and ourselves. When a father figure fails to show up emotionally and physically, when they withhold love, praise, or validation, we are left with a profound sense of inadequacy. This wound tells us that we are not worthy of protection, guidance, or unconditional love. It influences how we show up in relationships, how we measure self-worth, and how we navigate the world. This deep sense of unworthiness can spread into other areas of life, leaving us feeling disconnected from our own power and potential. Healing the father wound is not only about reclaiming the love that was never given. It is about transforming the narrative of how we see ourselves and masculine energy in the world. It is about breaking free from the unconscious patterns passed down through generations and rewriting a new story of love, strength, and support. Interesting. Healing this wound is the key to accessing our true power, to standing tall without the need for validation, and to creating healthier relationships. When we heal this wound, we begin to heal the world, dismantling the old systems that keep us trapped in cycles of insecurity and self-doubt. The world shifts when we heal the core belief that we are not enough, and in that shift, we reclaim the fullness of who we are. Your energy, focused on a father wound, right? And also I'm hearing like masculine energy, giving yourself that safety, stability that you needed, possibly you were searching for it outside of yourself, right? So healing the inner child, specifically father wounds. All right, let's keep going. You could be very drawn to red right now. We have action, rapid forward movement. So you are going through a lot of change here. Masculine energy, again, the cheetah. Rapid forward movement. So perhaps you've just broken through a layer when it comes to a father wound. it's also very dark outside, dark and gloomy. I just want to go back to this father wound for a minute. It feels important, masculine energy. Interesting. A deeply embedded emotional imprint left by an absent, neglectful, emotionally unavailable, or overly critical father figure. This wound manifests as struggles with self-worth, difficulty trusting authority, or an inability to feel fully supported in life. There may be a lingering sense of unworthiness, a fear of failure, or a subconscious belief that love must be earned through achievement, control, or self-sufficiency. Some may develop patterns of seeking approval from father figures in relationships, careers, or social status, while others may reject authority altogether, resisting structure or discipline. Emotionally, this wound can create challenges in feeling safe, secure, or guided, leading to cycles of self-doubt, hyper-independence, or seeking validation from external sources. Physically, it may manifest as tension in the shoulders, digestive distress, or issues with grounding and stability. Over time, an unhealed father wound can result in difficulty with commitment, struggle with self-discipline, or an internalized belief that one must prove their worth. Watch for patterns of overworking, seeking external validation, or mistrusting support from others. All right. I'm going to get one more. Okay. So on the bottom we have rage. So you could be someone who takes after your father, right? I'm hearing that song by Scotty Hellman, Ripple Effect. And like maybe because of your father wound, you either attract in hot-headed people, angry with a temper, or that was your father, right? That was your father's energy or your caregiver's energy, someone with very little patience, someone very reactive. I'm going to get one more. One more. We have crown chakra, courage. I replenish my soul with rest and self-care. That's your affirmation. So we have crown chakra, consciousness, higher self, divine connection. What's your higher self telling you to do here? Crown chakra activation. And on the bottom, courage, bravery, determination, persistence. It's pouring. It just started pouring. Emotional release. Let's clarify root chakra. Safety, stability, home. We have missing you, talking to the moon, longing, reminiscing. Talking to the moon. You could be missing someone who feels like home to you. While working on your stability, safety, home. Unexpected, caught off guard. Why did I just go quiet? I want to get one more for that one. Heart chakra activation. Are you going through some sort of ascension? Like chakras are activating here. Root chakra, crown chakra, heart. Cleanse and clear. You're cleansing and clearing here. I feel like I'm picking up on a masculine collective. I feel like I'm picking up on a masculine collective. Father wounds. Courage, having the courage to heal these wounds, having the courage to look at your inner child, having the strength to face them. And we also have, I see, freedom. So freeing yourself from these wounds that have kept you stuck. Thinking about someone, nostalgic. I feel like I'm picking up on a masculine collective. And I'm not talking about gender. I'm not talking about gender. I'm going to get one more for that. Father wounds. Mother wounds. Healing both. Having the courage and the determination and the persistence to heal mother wounds, father wounds, and I'm thinking about that aggressive card. So you could be someone who was quite aggressive or was aggressive with someone, and I feel like someone that you know triggered this within you, because we have soulmates on the bottom. Like, to me, what I'm looking at is someone who's awakening from the root. Mother wounds. Let's read that one too. The mother wound is a deep imprint left when the love, nurture, or validation that should have been freely given was absent, inconsistent, or conditional. It forms in the spaces where you were unseen, where your emotions were dismissed, where love felt like something to be earned rather than something you naturally deserved. This wound manifests in self-doubt, difficulty receiving love. Interesting. People-pleasing, a lingering sense of unworthiness, lack of confidence. You may find yourself seeking approval, fearing rejection, or struggling to trust your own needs because the one who was meant to show you unconditional love left you questioning if you were ever enough. And this can show up as rejecting maternal energy, denying the need for nurturing, care, emotional closeness. Maybe you're someone who emotionally shuts down, distancing themselves from love and affection as a defense mechanism, or a refusal to acknowledge past pain. And I feel like somebody triggered this within you, someone who's on your mind, someone who you're thinking about, someone you're nostalgic about. Action. We have breathe. Didn't come out. We have glow up, Empress era, radiant. Okay. I'm gonna get one more for this because we had breathe, but it didn't come out. Are you thinking about taking action towards someone? Someone who's in their glow up era? Someone that maybe you wronged in the past or deceived, hurt? Someone who's taking a break from you, I'm hearing. Let's get one more for that. Ascension. Awakening. You're going through an awakening. Spiritual enlightenment, right? And I'm seeing all these chakras being activated very quickly, which is making me think this is masculine energy. Right? Because typically the feminine goes through, if we're talking about what I think we're talking about here, the feminine goes through a slower ascension. Whereas the masculine person, not talking about gender, because ultimately it's about balance, right? But the masculine will go through a much faster ascension once they wake up. And there's someone here that you're thinking about that is triggering this ascension. Someone who's possibly glowing right now in Empress era. Like you're thinking about taking action towards someone who's sparkling right now, right? It's pouring. Ascension, upgrades, light codes, leveling up. Someone you feel a lot of chemistry with. Crown chakra. Breathe. Stillness. Calm. Right? So clearly you've been healing in silence. And you're connecting to your higher self, like you're connecting to your intuition is what I'm hearing. Because you can't hear your intuition until you slow down, right? Rise up, death and rebirth, phoenix energy. Divine masculine. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Okay. One more for that one. Just third eye chakra. Trauma. Journal, expression, reflection. You're deep in reflection right now. Journaling, going over all this, the trauma, maybe the trauma that happened in this connection. Right? When we're overwhelmed, when we feel that heaviness, when we need to heal, we can't hear our intuition, we can't connect with it. Now you've got the third eye. So you've got a bunch of activations happening right now. Divine, like Phoenix, divine masculine energy. Intuition, meditation, trust, right? Intuition. Listening to your higher self. And perhaps like you're healing both types of wounds here, having the courage and bravery to look at those wounds. And perhaps you couldn't connect to your higher self or your intuition or your heart or even your root when you were full of all this trauma, right? But now you're healing. Just hold your horses here on the action, okay? Let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see what comes out. All right. Makes sense why I grabbed the decks I did. I'm just gonna get a few of these to confirm. New life, fresh start. Cut the deck. Patience. All right, your energy. Your energy. Your energy. Waking up. You're waking up. Good morning. Contract on the bottom, soul contract. You're waking up, having realization. June 5th could be symbolic. You're having an epiphany here. You are awakening, going through a rapid ascension. Soul contract. surrendering to your awakening. You're completely surrendering to these realizations, to the healing. Let's get another one. Oh, it's right over the cheetah taking action. I knew it. It's right. Listen. This is right over this line. Taking action, a risk. It's like you're feeling the reward outweighs the risk. Again, just don't take action yet. That row, crown chakra, third eye. Taking a break. Dreams, visions, fantasies, like downloads. Downloads. Are you drafting something here? Look, intuition, knowledge, higher wisdom, journaling. I'm hearing drafting a message. I'm gonna get three more. Three more. Three more. Wanting to give, learning lessons about giving and receiving energy. Maybe you're receiving assistance with your healing. Feeling excited. Two more. Not... Awakening, again. Awakening, enlightenment. Funny, not serious. You could have a good sense of humor. And we have determined, not giving up. What's going on here? You know, you could be someone, I'm seeing the hyena, you could be someone who has always made jokes or is like passive aggressive or uses jokes, or you joke about your trauma, or you joke about spirituality. Like, I'm seeing the hyena to cover up some of the things you need to look at and heal. All right, I'm tapping into a divine masculine. All right, let's have a look at this deck. There's a reason I felt called to these decks. I don't know where you are in your awakening, if you're going through rapid change, rapid growth, wanting to take action towards this person. Let's cut the deck. 5D, you could feel really connected to them in the 5D. Tempted to reach out is what I'm hearing. All right, but determined, not giving up. Whoever this is that you're longing for, they triggered this within you. Your energy. Your energy. Transformation. You're going through a very important transformation from the caterpillar to the butterfly. Your energy. This is beautiful. Let's get another one. Dark night of the soul and friends. So perhaps we have wounded feminine here. Dark night of the soul. You're going through a dark night of the soul. Nothing is making sense, right? Friends falling away. This came out together. Maybe you've been stuck in wounded energy, like wounded feminine energy. Again, I'm hearing like maybe you're someone who is uncomfortable with feminine energy, you know, and I mean by like that mother wound being nurtured. Wounded feminine energy. And I'm not talking about gender. Like you could have had some people around you, friends in dark night of the soul, right? When you're going through a dark night of the soul and you're surrounded by people who don't know what that is, it can be very isolating, and perhaps some of your friendships are falling away right now. Distorted feminine energy, negative emotions, depression, going around in circles, feeling unattractive, can be dishonest by means of manipulation. Do you constantly become involved with the wrong type of people? Do you blame your mate for the things that aren't working? So you could have been like projecting these wounds outward. Do you second guess yourself or imagine that people think ill of you? Are you dwelling on old feelings of hurt or disappointment? So Dark Night came out with friends and wounded energy. So it feels like that's a layer that's falling away. Like I'm seeing that Dark Night of the Soul card. Nothing in my life is making sense. That could be why you're feeling called to reach out to this person on your mind, because this person, I feel you know they've been through an awakening. But again, just hold your horses. Let's keep going. Your energy. Clearing and healing karma. So you could have had a karmic relationship here or karmic people around you. You are going through rapid change and rapid growth. Clearing and healing karmic lessons. One more and then I'll confirm. One more for your energy. Learning how to love yourself again. There could be an age gap here, but learning how to love yourself again. Inner union. You're probably losing things in your life right now. Like things are falling away. Old mindsets, you're having realizations, right? You're having the courage to look at this deep trauma, healing mother and father wounds, learning how to love yourself again. All right, what are you transforming? Let's have a look. Transformation. What are you transforming? Let's confirm that card. Confusion. Confusion between the head and the heart, cognitive dissonance, wounded feminine, ignoring your intuition. You're tapping into your intuition. You're transforming mental confusion. Let's get one more. Or fear of rejection. Rejection is on the bottom. What are you transforming? Magpies could be symbolic. We have fear. Fear and confusion. That's what you're transforming right now. While longing for someone, talking to the moon, remember? All right, let's confirm Dark Night of the Soul and Friends. Music. So you could be listening to a lot of music right now, getting messages through music. Perhaps you are feeling hurt and disappointment with that wounded feminine energy. You could be really sitting in your emotions right now. Right person, wrong time. Realizing that someone in your energy was the right person, but it was the wrong time. Perhaps friends were an interference here, or perhaps you didn't see them as more as friends. We have 5D and the red thread bond. So someone you feel is connected to your soul, right? Someone you feel you have some sort of really special fated connection. Thunder. All right. Clearing and healing. What are you clearing and healing? Family, like, anyway. What are you clearing, healing? Other than mother wounds, trauma, what are you clearing and healing? Cycles, like generational cycles. You're breaking generational cycles now that you're having the courage and determination to look at mother and father wounds. And we have mirroring, right? So usually I don't see it like this, but I'm going to say it. I feel like you're realizing karmic cycles that you were mirroring within your family, right? Like I was hearing Scotty Hellman, I'm just as stubborn as my mother, I'm aggressive as my dad, or whatever the lines to that song are. And I do feel like this connection, which this is the row that had thinking about someone from your past, right? Realizing they were mirroring back to you some sort of dynamic when you were young. Cycles, repetitive, like generational cycles, right? Self-awareness, knowledge, right? Once you realize what the wounds are and you have the strength and courage to say, oh, I do that. Mr. Crow. It's like thundering and raining here. Last row. Learning how to love yourself. I don't think you're there yet. Learning how to love yourself. Rejection, healing rejection wounds. Are you seeing names everywhere of somebody? Learning not to reject yourself. I'm going to get one more. Thunder. One more. It says you inspire me. Did somebody inspire you here? I always say we should heal for ourselves, but I feel like I do feel like there's someone that inspired this change in you. Someone who's maybe protecting their energy. Someone you feel a connection with. You inspire me. So I definitely feel like whoever this person is that you're thinking about, I don't think they're taking any type of action towards you. And there's like this, it's almost like you want to rush in and tell this person, I see the cycles. But again, I just want to get you some advice before you do anything. But someone is inspiring you here. Possibly someone that rejected you or you rejected them. Let's get one more for that one. I'm not seeing passion, someone you feel a lot of passion with. And then we have ancient Egypt. So like Egypt could be symbolic, or connections through ancient Egypt. All right. Thunder. All right. Archangel Michael, protection. But Archangel Michael, right? It's not just about protection. It can be about divine intervention, right? Which Archangel Michael can come in and cause chaos to wake you up. Dark night of the soul, right? Divine masculine, that didn't come out, but that's what's being awakened here within you, right? And I'm only looking at you today. I'm not going to be looking at your person. I want to look at you. Do you feel discombobulated? I feel all over the place. All right. There's a reason I grabbed the decks that I did. Let's see. Let's just confirm. I can't believe how much it's pouring out. Okay, I'm just going to get a couple of these for you, and then I'm going to get a couple. You're surrendering, trusting the process. You're surrendering to your awakening. All right. I don't think you were taking this connection seriously in the past, right? Funny, not serious. You thought it wasn't serious. You could be feeling very insecure right now. The runner, running from an intense connection. Awakening, oh my gosh. But you're feeling insecure. You haven't found your strength yet, right? Dark night of the soul. It's not easy. So before you go rushing in towards this person, you need to find your strength, right? Divine masculine didn't come out. I saw it. That's what's awakening within you. But you're full of insecurities right now. It's thunder and lightning here, pouring. Can you hear it? Tower moment, divine intervention. Your energy, we're just going to get a couple. Your energy. We have emotionally unavailable. That's what I mean. It's like when I was looking at those mother and father wounds, I feel like you would have been presenting very emotionally unavailable. Surrendering. You're surrendering to it. You're surrendering to your emotions. Dark night of the soul, very emotional. I actually want to go grab that card for you. Spirit closed the deck. All right, I respect it. So I want to get you the Divine Masculine deck. I can't get over that rain. Ego, fear, anxiety, insecurity, limiting beliefs. And right underneath insecurity and ego, we have gift, physical, communication, the truth. Right? That's what I mean. Don't be... It's like you feel this urge to take action, but you're feeling insecure about it. It doesn't feel like you're ready to take action yet. Your energy. And I'm going to confirm all of them. Chaos. That's what you were... I mean, Dark Night of the Soul is confusing, but remember what you are healing, cleansing and clearing. Chaos. No courage. That's crazy. Afraid to tell the truth, afraid to do the right thing. This is what I mean. Listen to this. You're not. I feel like you've just found the strength to look at your trauma and your wounding, right? Don't rush communication. Don't rush communication. Communicate is on the bottom. Don't rush communication. It's like you want to communicate with this person, but inside, sirens. Inside, you don't have the courage to. You don't have the confidence to yet, and that's okay. Because I'm seeing like you're not yet ready to say what you need to say. So now wouldn't be the time to communicate. Oh my goodness. Stormy. Your energy. You're at a crossroads. Music. Again, music. Messages received through song lyrics. So you'd be listening to a lot of music right now. We have transparent, honest, open, and vulnerable communication, nothing to hide. That's interesting. And we're at a crossroads. Indecision, making an important life decision. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Right? So you're in this dark night of the soul, like listen to what's going on. And I feel like part of you wants to reach out to this person, but like look at the difference here. Right? You're at a crossroads where you're wanting to communicate, but just my advice, I would wait until you're ready to be transparent, right? Honest, open, and vulnerable communication, nothing to hide. So if you feel like whenever you go to reach out, you're hitting a wall, right? I'm seeing the Two of Swords. When you think about reaching out to this person, if you hit a wall, if you hit indecision, if you hit like, I'm too afraid, that's your inner compass telling you you're not ready yet, right? Because when you take this step forward, you should be confident, ready to be honest, open, and vulnerable, nothing to hide. All right, we're going to do 2 more rows here. 2 more. Oh my goodness. 2 more rows. We have commitment on the bottom. Okay, so we have ghosting, out of sight, out of mind, unable to express feelings in a healthy manner, blocking phone numbers and social media. So I feel like for whoever you are, you ghosted this person. Whoever you're thinking about reaching out to, you ghosted them. You were unable to express feelings in a healthy manner. Maybe they ghosted you, right? Because of that temper. And again, the fact that you have the courage to look at this is amazing. But I would just be careful. We have karmic partner. Your energy. We're not looking at your person, we're looking at you. So it feels like you ghosted this person and then jumped into a karmic connection. The purpose of that karmic connection was to learn lessons that you weren't learning with this person. So you probably ghosted this person and jumped into another connection. One more row. Twin flame. There's a reason I grabbed all these cards. Karma, paying off karmic debts owed from past life and present life. Clearing, cleansing, karmic cycles. Family, remember generational cycles. Black sheep, I'm hearing. The black sheep, the chosen one. Chance, wanting to take a leap of faith. not wanting to miss out on an opportunity. You have to trust in divine timing, right? Like if you are going to send a message and you're being blocked with fear and confusion and fear of rejection, right? Spirit's saying it's not the right time. I mean, yes, when we do things that are outside of our comfort zone, it is going to scare us, but it's coming through that Spirit is saying it's not the right time. It's not the right time to like go towards this person yet. I kept saying, hold your horses, hold your horses. On the bottom we have twin flame, mirror, soul, reflection, growth, intense and passionate. I'm going to be honest, I think that you rebounded with a karmic here because you were avoiding looking within, and now you're looking within and you're missing the person that came before the rebound. Someone who inspired you? Anyway. Alright. Let's get you an animal card. I'm actually feeling called to get you an archetype card, and I don't normally get those. Let's get you an archetype card. I'm not going to shuffle them. We're going to be looking at your energy. Your energy. Oh, these, anyway. It might take a while for one to come out here. The offering. You really want to reach out to this person. The sword. Clarity. The tear. Emotions. The rain. All right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. The tear. Greeny, blue, gray eyes could be symbolic. The morning, the release, the rain. Melancholy, melody flowing through. When in dark, drowning drama, murkiness. Tears are droplets of letting go. Once they begin to fall, we allow the swelling tide of emotion to run its elemental course. Often the tear is what is needed in order for a conversation. What is with the communication? Sorry. It just like keeps coming out. In order for a conversation or a situation to break into the next level of intimacy or vulnerability. That's where you're stuck, right? Some say that tears are so powerful in softening our egos that they open up a portal to the unseen world. Through our watery eyes, the ancestors catch a glimpse of us, and we are reminded of their internal embrace. We sense our humanity, our humility, and we allow ourselves to be held. It is likely this card appears when there is grieving yet to do. A sinking down into disappointment or despair, once acknowledged, will bring a shimmer of clarity to our dewy eyes. And you have the sword. The timing of that is just crazy. The knife, the blade, the weapon. When in light, cutting through to what is essential. When dark, hasty, backstabbing, a dull and painful blade. The sword is... To use the sword is to decide, and you have offering, right? And you also have this tear card. This is what I mean. It's like Spirit is giving us a very repetitive message that there's still... We have offering, the sword, and tear, right? So like Spirit's being very clear about this, that the ocean, the storm... I need to read all of these. I need to read all of these. I need to read them. Because that's what's happening here. This is the last one I'm taking. The kiss. Oh my goodness. The kiss. Oh my goodness. I keep hearing kiss by a rose. Is that seal? Kissed by a rose. What song is that anyway? This, to use the sword is to decide. The blade separates one reality from another. The choice is made and all else falls away. If you find the sword in your grasp, you can no longer hesitate. This weapon requires a clear and decisive mind and a willingness to act, right? It requires a clear and decisive mind. And right now, yes, you're clearing fear and confusion, but you're at a crossroads here where you're still struggling with confidence. So I really do feel like Spirit's telling you to take some time to grieve, to sit in your emotions, so that you're already journaling, but so that when you feel ready to take action, you can go forward with emotional vulnerability and transparency. Because if you're approaching an Empress, you want to go in with nurturing energy anyway. An onlooker may think the sword bearer is hasty, but the most compassionate and responsible gesture is one that is honest, swift, and accurate. Our first encounter with the sword is at birth, when the cord we share with the mother is cut. Mother wound. This moment defines our separation from her and begins our journey of becoming ourself. We must make these cuts again and again if we are to grow. Decisions shape our life, and the sword is an infamous shaper of destiny. Again, I can see how much you want to go towards this person. I can see it. It's coming out in every deck. But there's something about waiting until the storm passes, right? Waiting until the internal emotional storm, and maybe even the mental storm, passes, where you're clear on your decision and you know what you're going to say. All right. I'll show you these cards in a minute. LX1V. The offering. The gift. That you had that card. When in light. Generosity, donation, volunteering. When dark, giving with expectations, keeping track. All right. I'm going to read this to you. I'm going to get you advice. Unlike many of the other cards in the deck, the offering carries a clear as day message and a call to action. As you may have guessed it, it's time for something to be given or given up for the sake of the bigger picture. If nothing comes to mind immediately, take time in meditation to consider what must be offered and who is to receive it. It's likely you'll feel attachment and hesitancy. You'll make excuses, but recognize the link between the word sacrifice and the word scared. One leads to the other. When we offer up something to the greater good, we lighten our load and become more able to serve. Imagine for a moment if you were to offer your whole self unconditionally to the world. For now, start small. So you are being called to go towards this person. But like I said, it's like Spirit wants you to wait for the storm to pass. Patience, remember? So those are those two. And then this is the one, this is the one I pulled. Blue, green, or gray. Blue, green eyes could be symbolic. The ocean. Maybe 35 is symbolic? The unconscious, the depths, the incomprehensible. Deeper than deep. Big dreams, discovery, when in dark, subsumed, drowned, polluted, unpredictable. The power of the ocean is unmatched. To step into its salty waters is to step into the unknown. By its sheer volume, the ocean represents the unconscious, all that is beyond our understanding. We cannot live within the ocean. We cannot claim it, manage it, or own it. It rejects our every attempt to dominate nature, yet amid its overwhelming power, it calls to us, inspires us, and invigorates our life on land. It dissolves the little us into the big us. When the energy of the ocean is present, there is a change stirring that is beyond any change you've known before. Dark night of the soul, where the old version of you falls away. Transformation, remember? I just don't think you're quite there yet. The ego must dissolve. The saline swells work in your very cells, your fibers, your deepest underlying beliefs. Like Aphrodite, we rise from the ocean's froth a new being. Life is change. Let the waves crash. And then the storm, how fitting. I've never done a reading this late at night. The chaos, the whirlwind, the disorder. Meaningful obliteration and annihilation. I shouldn't laugh, I'm sorry. When dark, meaningless disorder and dysfunction. Wounded feminine energy going around in cycles, right? The tornado scene in The Wizard of Oz. Possessing an energy much like the Tarot's Tower card. The storm undoes all that is. Everything that was solid, known, and relied upon is stripped away by the winds of fate. The ground becomes the sky becomes the center, and then the center disappears. The storm is a great equalizer. No matter how far we've come on the path, no matter our age, wealth, or wisdom, we can't hide from its savage winds. Their disturbing howls stir anxiety and make it impossible to see and think straight. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You must wait it out. If you try and fight the storm, you will lose. A better option is to seek temporary shelter and a reliable friend. That's probably why you feel called to reach out to this person. I'm going to be honest, because you feel like you can rely on them. If you have a reliable friend, reach out to them. When all else, I'm not talking about this person though. Well, when all else fails, go within. Remember I said Two of Swords? I was seeing the Two of Swords. Spirit says you're at a crossroads, but you're not through the storm yet. So it's time to go within before you take action, okay? Learn to walk before you can run is what I'm hearing. When all else fails, go within. There, for a moment, you settle into the eye of the storm. The eye of the storm where you can see things clearly, where you find clarity, the sword. Okay. All right. That makes sense. Okay, I'm going to get you an animal card. Let's get an animal card for you, my friend. I wonder if the storm will pass by the end of this reading. All right. Animal card for you. We have the crow. Didn't I say the crow? Like the crow is being so loud. All right. We have the crow. And we also have the scorpion. So you could definitely be... We have the panther. Oh my gosh. All right. So the crow, I do believe you're tapping into your intuition here. The scorpion, thinking about a situation or stewing about a situation in the past, possibly where you felt burned or you burned someone else, tends towards isolation. And then we have the panther, which is chaos. It's just chaos. It's the tower. The panther. It comes in and it wreaks havoc. And then havoc. Why did I say havoc? It wreaks havoc. And then the bunny is underneath. Feeling nervous, feeling afraid. It's normal to feel afraid during Dark Night of the Soul. Listen to your music. If you have a trusted friend, reach out to them. But again, when I went through my Dark Night of the Soul, my parents thought I was losing my mind. Like they wanted, that's not what I need. They wanted to have me committed. And I didn't have any friends that understood what I was going through. They just didn't understand. Annihilation of the unnecessary, purging. When in balance, brave and productive. So when it's time, when the storm passes, you'll find that bravery, that lion, right? The panther won't stand to see our growth or energy stagnate. Instead, it pounces into our lives and causes all kinds of havoc, with the ultimate intention of bringing us towards more fulfilling lives. It's unpredictable, uncomfortable, and sometimes feels devastating. But after the dust clears, it's easy to see the panther's wisdom at work. We've all been through these experiences, and they've made us better people. Trust that the panther's journey always leads to a brighter place. All right, so let's get you a card. I want to look at your current energy in relation to all of this. Your current energy. Oh. Healing emotional wounds. The sea serpent. Mother wounds. But very emotional energy. Healing emotional wounds. I'm not surprised that came out. Oh, we have the dolphin. So, because the dolphin is a spiritual card, right? So you are going through a spiritual awakening. But I want to look at the shadow of the dolphin. For some reason. Underestimates own power. To bring into balance like-minded spirits, and I don't know if you have any like-minded spirits around you. Healing emotional wounds, the sea serpent, learning how to be vulnerable and express your desires. When it is in balance, our relationships are meaningful and enduring. We loosen the grip of self-judgment and we let the cool waters of forgiveness in to heal our wounds. When it's not yet activated, our emotions and creativity are left in the muddy waters. The current of expression stagnates in some areas of our life, and in other places it floods. And it does talk about like giving yourself the love that you needed from your mother or from your feminine caregiver, right? There's no way you're in dolphin energy. I think you're underestimating yourself right now. That's what I think. I think you're feeling called to heal. You are healing. The dolphin is healing. But I definitely feel like you're underestimating your own power right now. Going through all of these emotions. It's one of the most confusing things to go through. Let's get another one. And again, when I was going through it, oh, we have the octopus. Pressure from family and friends make it even more difficult is what I'm hearing, or is that the stingray? But anyway, the octopus, lacking direction, longing, reaching, yearning to bring into balance space to oneself and talk therapy. So you are probably someone who finds yourself repeating cycles of messy connections, right? Looking at this, you grew up in a household where there was messy connections with you're looking at mother and father wounds, healing emotional wounds. This reading, lacking boundaries and direction. Lacks courage, when out of balance, lacks courage. To bring into balance space to oneself, let the storm pass. The octopus signifies a wonderfully perceptive mind paired with a lack of healthy boundaries. Unfortunately, whoever you are, you're intelligent. So that's probably why none of this is making sense to you. You could be very intelligent, right? Wonderfully perceptive mind. Like you could be very smart. You could be science smart. You could believe in science, right? I don't know why I'm hearing that, but I am. And now you're surrendering to this idea of spirituality and this connection. Unfortunately, this results in well-intended but messy relationships. You're probably one of those people. You're probably one of those people that unfortunately finds yourself hurting others because of your wounds. And you're probably one of those people that says, I didn't, like, that wasn't my intention, that wasn't my intention. But intention doesn't erase impact, is what I'm hearing. Feeling drained, right? You could have been surrounding yourself with people who were in lower vibrational energy. There was a lot of drama, could have energetically drained you. I think that right now you're feeling energetically drained. Begin to establish healthy boundaries. Be patient. It may be an old habit to change. So Spirit really wants you, again, space to oneself right now. We've got this bee in a little bubble. And a bee, you could be someone who overworks, or when you're overstimulated or tired or triggered, you could sting people, right? That's what the bee card talks about. We have the camel on the bottom, so you could be someone who has these really heightened reactions. I feel like you have a parent that's very reactive. I give myself permission to feel happiness. Maybe you're someone who doesn't feel like you deserve happiness. Again, you need to find your strength before reaching out. Let's see one more advice for you. Advice. The frog. Spirit wants you to focus on self-care. I survive on bad days and thrive on good days. Spirit really wants you to work on releasing, cleansing, and healing. You already are. But I think there's more that needs to happen here. More releasing, cleansing, healing. Because I can see there's still stuck energy here, right? Be gentle with yourself. You're transforming. Release those emotions, right? Let them flow. Surrender to the tears. Surrender to the emotion. Maybe you're someone whose parents, said that it was weak to cry, or maybe they didn't know what to do when you were emotional. And again, mirroring family cycles, you could have been mirroring this in other connections or acting in that way. Like maybe whoever this person is, you didn't know how to handle their emotions, I'm hearing. Especially nurturing energy, right? The frog. Clearing, cleansing, healing. Clear energy. You could be running on empty right now. The frog spends its first months of life entirely within this healing element, then emerges to rest on land, right? So Spirit, I don't know how long you've been in this energy, but Spirit says it's first months, right? So frogs tend to become overworked and undernourished. And I was saying that about the bee. You could be someone who overworks or doesn't give yourself. We have practice self-care. This card serves as a reminder that water helps us to cleanse, forgive, and release. Time to dive in. Frogs aren't meant to carry a heavy load. You're not meant to carry all this baggage and these emotional wounds, right? So Spirit's saying, you need to continue to clear, cleanse, and heal until you can, I don't know if you've forgiven yourself, but you need to forgive yourself, especially before you go forward wanting forgiveness from someone else, right? So let's get tarot. Let's get tarot. All right. That storm is moving on already. Interesting that only 2 cards came out of that deck. I actually want to get Spirit's advice for you too. All right. Oh, 9 of Swords, mental anguish, psychological trauma, lost hope or love, dark thoughts, anxiety, fear, nightmares, insomnia, worry. And then we've got the Wheel of Fortune. So things really are shifting for you here. Again, the Moon. Hidden emotions coming to the surface. All right. I'm just going to shuffle. Your energy. Your energy. Internal change, death in reverse, internal change. Transform, emerging, metamorphosis, rebirth, regenerate, and that's not easy. And then we have the 4 of Coins. Scarcity mindset. Tightwad, creature of habit, conserve. Interesting. 7 of Swords in reverse. Getting caught, confessions, remorse, unworkable strategy, coming clean, prickled conscience. 7 of Swords in reverse. So this 4 of Coins, right? It feels like you are a creature of habit. These are hard to change, like death in reverse. These would be negative emotional patterns that you kept repeating in different connections and different situations that you were resisting to change, right? Internal change here, death in reverse, your insides, clearing and purging, right? It's no wonder you're in your head. Prickled conscience, like you've got you're feeling bad here. You're feeling bad about this situation you're connected to. Let's get a few more. Your energy. Aha moment. 10 of Wands, feeling weighed down, right? Frogs are meant to carry a heavy load. Hanged Man, new perspective, an aha moment, right? Light bulb. Awakening, surrendering to your awakening, having epiphanies. I'll show you this picture. 10 of Wands, feeling overwhelmed, feeling the weight. Responsibility, over your limit, overwhelmed, almost there. You're almost there. The Empress is on the bottom. Interesting. Let's get another one. Your energy. 2 major arcanas. Your energy. Blocked by obstacles. Chariot in reverse. Lacking direction. Feeling powerlessness. Facing opposition, right? Your chariot, it's stuck. That's why you're being blocked from moving forward. Even though everything within you wants to move forward towards this person, Spirit's saying not yet. 3 major arcanas. I can't remember. Page of Wands. Like, no. Page of Wands. Feeling inspired to reach out. Send a message. Oh, we have the devil in reverse on the bottom. Becoming more self-aware of your unhealthy patterns, of your toxic patterns. It's no wonder you have a prickled conscience. You're becoming very self-aware about all of this, another major arcana. But those are big changes. I'm just going to confirm these. 555 on the timer, positive change. 4 of coins. I feel like you've been very attached to the material world, right? Your physical world, the 3D world. A test of faith, 9 of wands. Courage, boundaries, grit, determination, faith, endurance, holding the line, persistence, right? It's like you're trying to be courageous, but you also have this fear and this scarcity mindset and this insecurity. Let's get one more. You're awakening. You've got vernal equinox here, dark to light. Fresh start. Awakening. I'm going to get one more for that. It feels like you're determined to release this scarcity mindset. Eight of Swords, trying to release limiting beliefs. Trying to conquer self-doubt. 8 of Swords in reverse. Mental strength, it's up to you. You know it's up to you now. And we have Ace of Swords, so you're having an epiphany about this. Epiphany, clarity, force, decisive, communicate, ideas, compel, focus, truth, vision. But again, it's like you want to take action, but I feel like you're still holding on to this scarcity mindset, fear of rejection, right? Fear of opening up, fear of being vulnerable. Empress is on the bottom again. So this could be, not that I want to talk about your person, but you could be having awareness and insight about this person you're connected to. All right. Internal change. Internal change. Hi, buddy. The Lovers just came flying out. Internal change. Alignment, openness, vulnerability, choices, duality, love, connections, the Lovers. I feel like this would have been a connection. I feel like this would have been a connection where you were, like I said, I was hearing repeating negative emotional patterns and resisting change with death in reverse. Yes, you're going through internal change. But you're choosing to, right? Like you're surrendering to this change. And I think this Lover's energy was the catalyst. We have Knight of Wands. Shameless, flirt, over the top, adventure, rebellious, energetic. Like Knight of Wands, fear of commitment, hot and cold energy, hot tempered, right? This is what you're trying to heal right now. This is the internal change you're going through. 4 of Wands right underneath that. Definitely fear of commitment. Here I was thinking the storm was over, but it's still happening here. July 28th could be symbolic. One more for internal change. Thirst for knowledge, Page of Swords, 8 of Wands. Again, rapid change, rapid growth, right? Learning lessons. So I do feel the Lover's card, I always talk about this with my other collectives, that Lover's card inspires growth and change. It transforms us. So we have Page of Swords. So for what you are, we have, listen, internal change for what you're clearing and purging, transforming. How can I put this? You could be very guarded, right? You could prefer surface level connections because you fear nurturing energy, or we already talked about the mother and father wounds, right? I do think you're learning about yourself, but you also could be someone who could be sarcastic. Remember, I was seeing the hyena. You could be very cynical, very critical. Think about those father wounds. If you are someone who was highly criticized as a child, it's very possible that when somebody tells you how they feel, you think they're criticizing you, right? Because I was hearing that wasn't my intention. It does say, it says plays mind games. But that's what you're purging right now. Six of Cups, healing childhood wounds. Exactly. Exactly. From family, like generational trauma is here. Cycles, 10 of Coins. All right. Hanged Man. And you're already surrendering to this, right? In reverse, it says resisting surrender. What is your new perspective? What is your new perspective? Fairness and balance, reciprocity, giving and receiving. Remember, we were talking about that. Doing what's right. New perspective, cause and effect, integrity, fairness, balance, consequences, life lessons, truth. And we have King of Wands in reverse for your new perspective of self. Unpredictable, lacks energy, controlling, ruthless, acts from ego. Remember, hot-tempered. Remember, we were seeing that. So I feel like you're seeing a new perspective of self here. King of Wands in reverse. I think you want to apologize. Maybe you've had some sort of karmic lesson, right? The rebound, the karmic, remember? New perspective of your own King of Swords, unpredictable. How you were showing up in an unpredictable energy, in an unbalanced way. New perspective. That's interesting. 10 of Swords. So new perspective about this breakup, about this ending, and possibly how you brought pain. I hope you're not feeling like a failure. We also, the Eight of Wands has flipped out in reverse now. Lack of focus, lost momentum, on hold, delays, stalling. That's your new perspective. That I don't think you were showing up to this connection in a balanced way. Whoops, right here. That's under new perspective. Thirst for knowledge about lovers' energy. You're watching this. You could be researching this type of stuff, right? Thirst for knowledge about a divine connection, I'm hearing. We're going to see what's blocking you. We're going to see, because we have the Chariot in reverse here. Blocked by obstacles. So let's see what those obstacles are. New perspectives about vulnerability, companionship, happiness. Anyway, I'm going to turn it this way. What is blocking you currently? What is blocking you? Six of Coins. One-sided connection, dependence, greed. For what's blocking you, right? Until you can give Seven of Swords, until you can set the record straight about reciprocal energy, right? Until you're ready to come clean and show remorse. I am very smart and good at my job. I thought you were smart. So maybe you've been getting all your validation from work, right? But I partner with peace by keeping a grateful heart. Interesting. I need to plug in my phone. Shoot. I'll worry about that in a minute. So I definitely feel, for what's blocking you, I'm just going to turn this around a minute. I feel like there's still things that you need to come clean about to yourself, about how maybe you were very self-focused, very self-interest. You could have been showing up very one-sided in this connection. You could have been lying, could have been wearing a mask. You could have been very strategic. If you are cowardly, right? And I'm not saying you're a coward, but you're lacking the confidence to go in. You know, if you're in this energy of Seven of Swords, it's like you would be being blocked from reaching out from this person, right? You'd be hitting a wall from spirit. I think there's still things that need to come to light here. There's still lessons of balance and how to receive love. If you have a mother wound, you probably have a really difficult time receiving and reciprocating love. What is still blocking you right now? Time for non-action. Spirit's saying it. You still need to work on yourself. 8 of Coins. You still need to work on yourself. There's still a month. We're getting a month for timing, and we have 4 of Swords, 4 weeks. So for what's blocking you, don't give up. We have time for non-action. So you still need to isolate, go within, silence, rest, take a break, healing, recalibrate, retreat. That was your last line when I had those other cards as well. And then we have timing. We have timing here. So I feel like you're being blocked until 1 month or the next new moon. We just had a new moon. Timeless reading. So next new moon or 1 month from now. A change in direction. Set your intentions when you're clear on your intentions and you know what you want. That's when you'll make your move. That's when you'll be released from isolation. It's like you're the bear, right? When that 4 of Swords flips, that's when you'll be released, is what I'm hearing. Balancing act. So there's still a lack of balance in your life. Could be cognitive dissonance, right? You need to figure out... You definitely need to figure out what to prioritize and what not to prioritize. All right. So what is your advice about, because I can see, I want to ask Spirit straight up, what is your advice about this action you're feeling called to take? I mean, Spirit kind of told me anyway, but what is your advice about taking action? We have the World. So... Hermit, you still need to hermit. You still need to hermit. There's still lessons and cycles here that need to be completed. We have delays, lack of completion, stagnation, taking shortcuts. So you could be wanting to seek something from this person, but Spirit's saying that you can't take shortcuts here. Again, I feel like Spirit will give you that green light when it's time. We have the Hermit. So you still need to do more soul searching, enlightenment, contemplation, solitude, growth before taking action. All right? Spirit still wants you to hermit. No shortcuts. So what should you focus on right now? Laying a foundation, exactly. Laying a foundation. Learn to walk before you run. Setting goals, grounding yourself. It says the study of magic, interesting. Working hard, ambitious, faithful. Interesting. We have 6 of Wands. Victory, recognition, success, pride of achievement, confidence. Right? So Spirit wants you to focus on laying a foundation and focus on your confidence right now. Right? Page of Coins, silent, slow, setting goals, figuring out what your intentions are, figuring out what you'll say. 7 of Coins, so like waiting, definitely waiting. There's that card again. Focus on your awakening. Focus on your awakening. What should you focus on right now? Interesting. Remorse, coming clean, prickle conscience. Like, 7 of Swords in reverse keeps coming out. So focus on recognizing exactly what you regret, where you went wrong, where you want to set the record straight, what you intend to do, because you can't just go in with action or words. You have to back it up with action, right? Self-awareness. Spirit wants you to focus on your self-awareness right now. You're already there. We saw the Devil in reverse, right? Being proactive. This is what Spirit wants you to focus on. Being proactive, focus, gratitude, 4 of Cups in reverse, self-awareness, 5 of Swords, shifting the energy. Conquering self-doubt, embracing change, doing it differently. You got to do it differently. Making amends. Well, we already know that. Shifting consciousness, gaining strength, final steps, increase, 1 to 2 weeks. Making progress. Spirit says you're making progress, but you need more time here. I'm just out of curiosity. I want to see when it's the right time. How should you approach it? When it's the right time, approach it with self-awareness. How should you approach this when it is the right time? All right, we have 2 of Wands, future planning, decisions. So when you are ready, Spirit, it says charting a course. So Spirit really wants you to think about what you want within this connection. It's about a connection. I can't deny it. When it's the right time, 2 of Wands, you're going to need to step out of your comfort zone. You're going to need to make a decision. It's also about future planning. So not just empty words, but actually planning to get together or planning to have a conversation face to face. We also have the 2 of Coins. So when it is the right time, Spirit wants you to prioritize this connection, to balance this connection with the other things you have going on. It says prioritize. Balancing act, 2-2. So it needs to be balanced. So visualize how you're going to prioritize this person, right? When it is the right time, what should you do? How should you approach it? Yeah. We have the 6 of Cups and we have the Star. So when it is the right time, tenderness, softness, shared moments, innocence, like even I would be communicating. 2 of Wands, 2 of Wands can be about the patterns that have kept us stuck from moving forward. So Spirit really wants you to be, or your advice is to be truthful, authentic, right? Take accountability, doing what's right, cause and effect, going in with integrity, fairness, balance, communicating that you've seen the consequences, you've learned a lesson, you see the truth of this situation, you see how your childhood wounds or your mother wounds or father wounds or whatever, positive change, 555, that you've been healing these and that you're going to prioritize and do things differently moving forward, right? Taking accountability, huge, huge. And the star, wish granted. Calm, be calm. Healing, renewal, purpose, serenity, inspiration, spirituality. So maybe even being honest about the spiritual awakening you've been through. Any more advice for how to approach this when the time is right? So we have 5 of Wands in reverse. Harmony restored. Harmony, situations resolved. Finding common ground. Cooperation. Finding solutions. Masculine energy. You find solutions, right? Instead of getting aggressive. Harmony restored. End of conflict. Resolution, making amends, like compromise, meeting each other halfway is what I'm hearing. I gotta stop this before my phone dies. Hang on. I turned off my light. The storm has passed. I've plugged in my phone. The Magician, willpower, being proactive, inspired action. You'll know when it's the right time. Healthy communication. All right, I just want to see how Spirit is seeing you right now. How is Spirit seeing you right now? All right. Yeah, clouds, storm, thoughts, doubt, hesitation, beyond view, unclear, confusion, indecision. And it's not the right time to take action. We have judgment. Total transformation, heed the call, awakening, renewal, surrender, rebirth, clean slate, fundamental changes, clearing and purging. So this is how Spirit, like you're in this energy right now. Spirit wants you to focus on that. Yeah, we have death here. They're coffin. Death, loss, inactive, forgotten, discouraged, absent-minded, defeated, down and out, over and done, endings, dull, breakup. Perhaps you have recently lost someone in your life. And it's created that epiphany, right? That realization life is short. This ending had to happen is what I'm hearing. Not the death. But the ending between you and whoever this is, it needed to happen so that you could awaken. We have temperance. Within 30 days, like 4 weeks a month keeps coming out. During the fall. Optimistic. Well, let's think about temperance. So for how Spirit's seeing you, right? You are healing. Spirit could want you to keep re-examining the things you prioritize. Don't make any hasty decisions, I'm hearing. But optimistic, restless, humorous, outspoken, desires knowledge, I told you. Enthusiastic, adventuresome, independent, irresponsible. Right? Perhaps this is what needs to be purged. Fundamental changes when it comes to maybe being outspoken in an unhealthy way. Being irresponsible. You could have you could have a fear of giving up your independence. You got the rainbow. Divine intervention, I told you. And what comes after the storm? Ascension. Perfect timing, serendipity, light codes, promises kept, duality, as above, so below. 16, your tower. It's divine intervention. And it's happening in the perfect timing. Embrace it. Embrace your ascension. We've got the bear. Didn't I say I was seeing the bear? I don't even know how to read this. It says boss, CEO, judge, coach, finance, benefits, wealth, mama bear, protective, strong, large, muscular, rich, affluence, hairy. But I'm seeing the bear in the animal deck. So when you awake from your spiritual slumber, it can take time to find your footing, to find your stability. That's normal. We have the snowflake. Perfect, delicate, coded, fragile, patterns, healing patterns. Symmetry, precise, handle carefully. Crystalline, unique design, exquisite, detailed. Handle yourself carefully right now. Again, Spirit doesn't want you to rush towards this person. I'm just going to confirm these. Oh my gosh, they're made by the same people, so they're all blending together. Okay. You'll know when it's time because it won't seem cloudy. Listen, the storm is over. Rainbow. There's probably a rainbow out there somewhere. Judgment. The time has come. The time has come for your total transformation. Culmination of effort, completion, abundance, fulfillment, release. Focus on your needs. Yes, the time has come, right? For fundamental changes, for clearing, for purging, for heeding the inner call, for total transformation. It's happening in perfect timing. You may feel like things are working against you, but your persistence will pay off. The beaver. Okay, coffin. I definitely think this says solutions, intelligence, genius, insight, clarity, open, breakout, liberty, important, pay attention, right? Insight and clarity. The first thing I heard was you could have had a loss in your life that really made you realize how there's no time like the present to transform, right? And go after what we want. Intelligent. You're a smarty. You're a smarty pants. Divine intervention. Ooh, my goodness. Higher self. All right, so we do have deception. Silent treatment. Toxic, right? So you clearly had some unhealthy things here. This is divine intervention. And what did I say when I saw that Archangel Michael card? Sometimes divine intervention is chaos, the storm, right? So this is what you're meant to be ascending out of. Deceptive energy, jealousy, betrayal, backstab, toxic, silent treatment, seduction. Could be something about sexuality, being counterproductive. We have the lovers, divine connection. This connection was meant to help you ascend. But again, I feel like you've been resisting. We have the moose, imposing, powerful, independent, time alone, confidence, solidarity, calm, cool, and collected. But the moose, like imposing and powerful, right? So this divine intervention has been powerful. Again, I feel like you were stubborn. I feel like you were resisting that change. And it's meant to bring balance. Centered, meditate, integrate opposing forces. That's interesting with the Lovers. Integrating your feminine and masculine energies, balancing those, feeling complete, awareness, just right, equality, well-being. I'm going to read you feminine and masculine energy actually, really quick, just so that you know what you're supposed to be integrating. I opened right up to the masculine. I'll just read you the pointers. Always present, but needs positive space in order to grow and develop. This is your space to grow and develop. Protecting what is truly valuable, being attentive, helpful, able to make decisions. Leadership qualities, sense of accomplishment, sets goals, building, creating for the good of all rather than individual gain. Interesting. While facing and overcoming challenges in a more linear, direct approach to getting things done. The divine masculine, sensitive, spiritual, intuitive, but approaches these and expresses them in qualities that are different from the feminine. So the masculine enjoys getting results and experiencing the physical outcome from his effort. It's they. We're not talking about gender, we're talking about energy. Often utilizing art or music. Interesting, and you've had music come out a few times. The divine masculine can move mountains but be incredibly subtle. To bringing projects through to fulfilling conclusion. Letting go of the idea that you are weak if you have emotion. And then the feminine qualities. Nurturing behavior, patience, caring, acceptance, trust, going with the flow, harmony, sharing, communal cooperation, healing, a connection to nature, and a more circular, organic way of getting things done. Very tapped into intuition. Trusting in the universe. Acting upon your intuition. All right. So centered, integrating opposing forces, feeling complete, awareness, just right, equality, well-being. Remove unwanted stuff, purging, a clean sweep, purging, internal purge, external purge, I'm hearing, restoring harmony. Divine intervention, double rainbow. Maybe you've seen a double rainbow. We have the hawk. Transition into higher self. All right, temperance. Clouds. So you have these for a reason, right? You're being urged to take your time for a reason. And like I said, perhaps some of your perhaps there's ways in which you are irresponsible or hyper independent that cause problems or doubts or hesitation in connections, right? Again, it's like temperance is also about divine timing, right? So you'll know when it's the right time because you won't feel this doubts, confusion, unable to make a decision. Masculine energy, you'll be able to make that decision, right? Interesting. Snowflake, handle carefully. If you want success, handle carefully. We have home. Boundaries. Remember that came out with octopus. So right now, handle carefully. Home, belonging, roots, comfort, safety, family, traditions, framework, structured, buildings, shelter, boundaries. That's probably why we have this handle it carefully, because the person who you're wanting to talk to probably has very strong boundaries up, right? And you need to recognize that. Very delicate situation right now. So Spirit wants you to focus on, again, home, roots. Oh, somebody's outside skateboarding. Focus on your goals, setting those goals, right? If you want a successful outcome, handle carefully. All right. I don't think there's anything else I need to get you. Well, just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. I want to get, I just want to get a few from Unspoken Oracle for you. Just a few. A few. Spiritual awakening. It's your awakening. Signs are everywhere. You're probably seeing, I saw the name cards, so you're probably seeing signs everywhere. Expanded awareness, emotional breakthroughs, new perspective on life. You'll get there. It's just, again, that dark night of the soul, very confusing. Just focus on self right now. All right. What do we need to know for this collective? Oh, we have the comeback. Wanted to come out. Fated encounter. I just got an emergency alert on my phone. Full circle. Closure gained, lessons learned, peace restored, acceptance achieved. I don't think you're there yet, right? I honestly feel, I saw that comeback card, so you could be, there's still lessons you need to learn here, right? Lessons you need to integrate. Fated encounter, crossed paths by destiny, familiar souls, instant attraction, divine timing at play. And then we have this comeback here, so it feels like you are feeling called to reach out. First, you need to find that peace within. You need to integrate these lessons, right? What you're learning about yourself, what you're learning about your patterns. Let's get another one. Yeah, we have realignment. Value shifting, outgrowing the old, returning to balance. You need to return to balance first. We have mirror energy. Reflecting wounds, emotional mirroring, triggering growth, soul level lesson. Someone you're in no contact with. So this person was meant to trigger these things within you. You also had mirroring when it came to those family cycles, right? That's interesting. We do have glow up, quiet confidence, attracting attention. Energy speaks louder than words. So it's not just about the words, right? I talked about that. It's about action. It's about energy. So until you are until you've returned to balance, your values have shifted, you've outrolled the old, and you've had this full circle moment where you can integrate these lessons, right? I do feel like Spirit's calling you to focus on self right now. You could be mirroring with this person. Yeah, we have crossroads. You, crossroads. Interesting. Big decision ahead. Torn between two paths. Pressure to choose. There's no pressure right now. There's no pressure. Just focus on self. Unsure of what direction feels right. That's exactly what we're talking about here. You feel like you have to make a decision right now, but you don't. Focus on integrating these lessons. Focus on your awakening right now. I don't need to repeat it. What's the full circle about? I'll just confirm each one. The hustle trap. Breadcrumbs. it really feels to me, remember at one point in the reading I said you could be someone who gets validation from overworking, right? The 10 of Wands. Overworking for validation, burnout creeping in, losing joy in routine, time to redefine success. And then fated encounter and breadcrumbs. Remember what's blocking you: lack of balance, lack of reciprocity. What was your advice to go towards this person? Prioritize them. So it feels like you fully haven't, like, again, there's a lesson that you need to learn about overworking for validation or seeking validation from external, outside places, like some of the things we talked about in our reading, right? All right. Energy speaks louder. Energy speaks louder. Inner peace. That's what I'm talking about. Calm energy, grounded confidence. So you need to focus on your glow up until you're in this energy. Calm energy, grounded confidence, emotions balanced, choosing ease over pressure. Solutions. Remember we talked about that. And I feel we have growth creating distance, right? So I feel that unless you go in with growth and action and energy, right? You have to go in with the right energy. And right now you're not in your inner peace era. And if you're seeing this, I don't know how you're seeing this person, but I was getting the idea that they're awakened. So they would be able to read your energy. They would be able to, like, see through your words. I'm hearing not in a negative way, but if you truly aren't in that grounded confidence, emotions balanced, I feel like they're going to know that. Realignment. The hard truth. Values shifting, outgrowing the old, returning to balance, choosing new direction, knows the truth. Facing reality. Healing, not chasing. Right? So you're meant to be focused on your realignment and healing right now. You're seeing the hard truth of yourself, right? I also feel, I'm going to say it even though I don't want to bring anybody else into this reading. I'm going to say it. I don't think the person you're connected to would accept the way that you used to show up. Right? I think that I definitely think it's the same row that I was seeing you want to reach out to someone who's in their glow up era, right? And I just feel like this person's energy has shifted, their values have shifted, which is why Spirit's advice was what it was, about how to go in, taking accountability, finding balance. You were here, you heard it. Crossroads. I want to take that. Fresh start, new beginnings, positive outlook, clean energy, ready for aligned opportunities, right? So right now you feel torn between pressure to choose. There's no pressure. There's no pressure right now. When it's the right time, you'll know it. And if it's meant for you, it will not pass you by, right? You'll be ready to choose the path when you're truly internally ready. Yes, there might be fear there, right? But it won't be like it is right now. And yeah, I did pull that because we do have collaborative energy, harmony, shared vision, balanced, building something lasting, right? So if you really want a fresh start with this person, last row, that's where that Six of Pentacles was, right? So if you really want to go towards this person, make sure You've given up the hustle trap, right? Make sure you're going in ready to collaborate and balance it, is what I'm hearing. Anyway. Let's just get some advice for you from this deck. I'm going to pull this deck. Just some affirmations for you. I forgive myself for thinking I need proof I have chosen correctly before I am allowed to enjoy what I have. I choose to believe that what is happening now is precisely what should be happening, and I align with my deepest desires when I allow myself to enjoy what is already mine. I forgive myself for holding on to old narratives in an attempt to avoid uncomfortable emotions in the future. I choose to believe that I am safe and no longer need to act on old stories my ego has created in order to protect me. That's connected to feminine energy within you. Blue is masculine, red is feminine, not talking about gender. I forgive myself for shaming myself for my divine animalistic desire to ensure my survival. I choose to believe that when I have compassion for how I behave when I feel threatened, I cultivate the self-awareness required to live more authentically. I forgive myself for putting my own desires on hold in order to pursue those which belong to people who are important to me. I choose to believe that when I advocate for my own desires, I gain access to a deeper love to be explored and shared. I forgive myself for forgetting that I do not need to be dependent on others for the nurturance I crave. I choose to believe that when I access my expansive wholeness, I am capable of nurturing myself in the ways I search for in others. I forgive myself for fearing the power of my own love and passion. I choose to believe that my love holds a unique energetic signature that the world craves, and by focusing on knowing myself more, I strengthen its loving expression. And then I forgive myself for giving my power away by thinking that others are more capable than I am. I choose to believe that I always have access to an innate wisdom that will guide me to the knowledge and resources I need to create what I desire. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I am sending you lots of love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.